Hey, it's Jaimee with FMMT, and I wanted to talk to you guys today about icing and anti-inflammatories with a soft tissue injury. So what that looks like is a muscle strain or a rolled ankle or something like that. So I'm the daughter of a physical therapist who pushes ice pretty hard. And I lived with that for a really long time, and it does certainly take the pain and the swelling away. But you'll see as I go through the stages of injury and injury recovery why that's not the best option anymore. So I'll start with a story. Years ago when I owned a gym and I was a personal trainer and I would talk to people, they would tell me about their injuries. And they'd say, because I'd ask them, do you have any injuries, chronic, acute, let's talk about it. And they would always say, yeah, I injured my something 20 years ago, and it's never been the same. This happened over and over and over again. And then I was like, there's got to be something to this. So I went back and I started to research again deeper why injuries don't recover fully. So here's the process of injury recovery. There's 4 stages of repair. And an injury will take every bit up to 12 months to fully recover. And this depends on age and health. I mean, some people I used to watch when I worked in physical therapy as a tech that, you're an 80-year-old with a broken hip, it's going to take a little longer to recover than somebody younger or athletic, whatever. Okay, so the first stage is the protection stage. We all know this, right? You roll your ankle, it hurts really bad, it starts to swell. Pain might actually go away a little bit because the swelling has increased so much, but that's keeping it protected. And that's exactly what the aim of this situation is to protect from further damage. And this lasts about 2 to 4 days. And it's only when the swelling really starts to come down do you start to feel the pain, and that's about after 4 days, and that's the repair stage. So when the swelling comes down, the repair stage starts to happen, and this is when scar tissue is being built. This takes somewhere between, 4 days to 6 weeks. And this is crucial, this stage. You don't want to put a whole lot of pressure, you don't want to go back to normal routine. You want to let this injury start to heal, and it will heal itself. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about a break right away. This is post-break when it's recovered, like when you've gone to the doctor and the doctor says, let's put it back into place. And then from then, that's when recovery happens. Okay, so then the third stage is remodeling. This lasts anywhere from 6 weeks up to 3 months. This is when scar tissue starts to become a little bit more mature. You can start going back to function, range of motion, maybe even more resistance, but this is the part where you are guided by sensation. So when you're a little less mobile on one side than the other, ankle versus ankle or wrist versus wrist, whatever, when it feels immobile, weak, still painful, then there's a signal inside the body that happens that says we need more help here still. And so it sends this signal, then the body responds with all the little helpers that it needs. And then the 4th stage is ongoing repair and remodeling. So this is after the scar tissue has come, it's created a strong structure, and then the body comes in with another little army that says we have excess scar tissue, and so we're going to take some of that off. That's when people feel less good than they ever have. I think that's the default. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to talk about stage 1 and 2 specifically, because this is when people want to use ice and anti-inflammatories. So you roll your ankle, and the doctor or the mom, no harm, no foul. So this is not intentional, because for years we heard RICE, right? Rest, ice, compression, and elevation. We knew that, and ice was a huge component. So let's say that in stage 1 and stage 2, you put ice in the mix. My pain is bad, and my swelling is big, both on purpose. You put ice there. Ice says there's no more pain and there's no more swelling, so then the body says nothing left to repair. And so its little workers will stay in there and go, oh, there's a little something wrong, and they only work to, half capacity. And so 9 out of 10 times you don't ever even make it through or onto stage 4 of this remodeling because you've never been hurt to healed completely. I'm going to tell you, it's very difficult. We don't like pain. People just don't like pain. I get it. But pain is an indicator. So when you feel pain, it causes you to do something different, like stop. Don't continue on that direction because it's going to hurt you. It is not a place necessarily to push through, especially when injury is concerned. So you want swelling because it's protecting, and you want pain because it teaches you your limitations. And when you put ice in the mix or anti-inflammatories in the mix, and or both, then you start inhibiting these things from happening, and therefore your injury will never be the same again, or always be less than great. And this is what we want to see be different, right? You come to myself as a trainer or a yoga teacher or somebody doing functional movement with you, and you've got these stock parts, then these are old injuries that we treated not to the best capacity. No harm, no foul. The doctors and my dad, even as a physical therapist, like when he watches this, but I just can't get on board with the ice. I think we have to deal with a little bit of pain and understand our limitations a little better, and it will always turn out better in the end. Look forward to talking to you next time. If you have any questions, if you have concerns, if you have a rebuttal, why not send it to me in the notes or DM me, and then we can talk about it. Otherwise, look forward to the next video with you guys, and I hope you have a great day.